What's up, guys? Welcome back to our show. And today we'll talk about focus. Yes, can you focus? Can you focus so well that everything else disappears out of your line of sight? And not only that, can you focus in a way where you don't get addicted or sucked in so much that you're unable to actually place your awareness on anything else? That's what we're going to be talking about today. And so if you've been feeling distracted, and if you felt like, hey, in the last couple of days or even weeks or even months, who knows, even years, you have been unable to really focus, then this video hopefully will help you. Ready? Let's go. Let's start by talking about why are we even distracted. So distraction is this interesting thing, and for that I would love to just pull up this concept of who you actually are, right? And so many people believe that, well, we even don't even ask the question who we are, right? And so before you even go into any discussion of how we even focus on anything, it's important to notice and to know what is even focus? Where does it even come from, right? And for that, I would love to illuminate 3 areas of our being that make this a little bit more easy to understand, right? The first area of our being, or what we experience in life, is our body, right? So we experience our body, sensations, and it's basically this form that we have that changes, right? We're born with it, and then kind of we grow up with it. It gets older and changes and gets uncomfortable. Second is our mind, right? Our mind is somewhat the computer that kind of drives our experiences and runs a bunch of programs. It's as if you have a bunch of software. And well, since AI has been in the game, we noticed that, hey, this thing that our mind is doing, we can actually get close to replicating it. It's quite a smart supercomputer, but it's not impossible to replicate necessarily. And then there's this third thing, right? And this third thing is essentially the awareness behind it. So it's essentially you, right? So this awareness, the person or the thing that is noticing the mind, that is noticing the body, and that is noticing all the other stuff outside, right? So when you look, for example, at this video, who are you, right, that is looking at this video? Is it your mind that's looking at this video? Not really. Is it your body looking at the video? Somewhat, right? So essentially what is happening in this particular video, and I want you to pay attention because this really makes a difference of how you will focus and how you understand this, okay? And if you actually enjoyed my shades before, please comment shades right now so that next time I'll put them back on. So let's talk about what happens, right? So normally, if you really look at the human experience and what really is going on, is you would see that from a physicality standpoint, there's light that hits an object, right? That light that hits this object kind of comes back through your eyes and essentially is kind of imprinted inside, right, your eyes and your retina, right? And then it gets rendered inside your retina, and it gets kind of, well, your mind creates that image, right? Because it's rendering what is seeing, and then it's creating an image in your mind that then informs you what is happening on the outside, right? That image actually that is created in your mind is then connected to some sort of meaning, right? So it's connected to an image you've seen before, right? And as, for example, newborn or children, you have no idea what something is. So you basically ask a lot of questions trying to understand what is what, so that your mind can make sense of what's going on in the world, right? Otherwise, before that, it's kind of like, I don't know where I'm at, what's this, who is this person, why do I need a calendar, right? And so as this image gets imprinted in your mind, you essentially kind of make sense of this image that you have. And the interesting part is here that while this is happening, your mind does run a couple of programs. And those programs that you've kind of adopted for yourself because they've been helpful to run life until now, right? And so your mind essentially has these programs that it's running, and they're kind of running the show on when you see an image, what does this mean? What do I do with that? And why is that important, right? And it also filters out a majority of things. So 99.9% of things that you see will probably be filtered out as, okay, this is just cool, but let's not pay too much attention to it. There's a few things that you do pay attention to though, right? And so let's say this happens, and then when that happens, then there's like the next image that comes, right? And then there's the next image that comes and the next image that comes. And sometimes, and you tell me if I'm right, sometimes it has even nothing to do at all with what you see on the outside, because you can close your eyes and you will still see an image, right? And so if that's true for you, and please give this video a brief like, so I know that I've kind of hit the nail on the head, right? So normally what can happen is you literally close your eyes and clearly you see an image in front of you and you think, where is that image even coming from? It's because your mind not only has a program of rendering what's on the outside, it also, yes, it also creates images on its own. And there's two ways how it does that, right? So one way is it basically kind of brings up memories from the past, and then it brings those images back up and all of a sudden you feel something. And the second way is it actually creates something new, right? So that's when, for example, you're thinking of creating a business or creating a product or something like that, and you're trying to kind of put together thoughts and ideas and images from the past, and you're creating a new image, right? And that new image is literally created out of nothing, right? And that's called creativity, and you have that ability. Your mind has that ability to just create literally something out of nothing. And so that's essentially where, where that happens. The good news is that focus, when we go to think about focus, how does that actually play in here? Focus is nothing else but to say, okay, for how long can I pay attention to a particular image that I'm seeing, or a particular image in my mind, right? At a certain point, without jumping to something new and processing that, right? And the reason that's important is because until now, we have not paid attention too much to who is the person or the thing that's paying attention to the image in your head, right? Because it's not your mind that's paying attention, it is you, right? It's you who's paying attention, yes, to the image in your head. And you can, let's put yourself like just in this, well, as an example, let's say you are this awareness, right? And to be fair, I'm not kind of trying to preach anything here. This is simply a version of reality I've adopted because it's been helpful for me. So feel free to discard it or tell your friends about it, or I don't know, take your version of it. But essentially, all of us have an idea of who we really are. And so if I were to say, okay, let's say this awareness that is witnessing stuff is me, right? Like an energy that kind of is like there to just absorb and witness stuff. If that was me, then things would get interesting, because all of a sudden, focus means that this awareness can stay in one place for longer, right? You can keep that awareness, which is you, on something for longer, right? And that is actually very possible and very easy to do. In fact, we've done it for millions of years. What's the reason why we actually don't do it, right? What's the reason why that awareness jumps? And when that awareness jumps, that's what we mean when we're distracted, because it jumps too quickly for our mind to catch up, right? Our mind gets kind of confused. It's like, oh my God, like I've been running this program. I'm trying to make sense of what this means. I'm trying to make sense of what to do about it. And so all of a sudden, it gets really, really tricky, and it gets a little taxing on the mind, right? And so staying with our awareness on one spot for a longer period of time, that's actually what creates focus, right? That's what helps. And sometimes our awareness can get sucked in because the moment is so exciting and so interesting. And sometimes we actually need to train ourselves to keep our awareness on one spot. That's essentially what meditation is, right? It keeps your awareness on your breath. And as you do that, it's literally what you're training is keeping awareness on your breath. And whenever your memories or your mind takes you somewhere else, you bring yourself back. And so that's how awareness is training essentially your focus. But you don't necessarily need meditation per se, like this idea of sitting down like this and training this. That's not what you necessarily need. It's helpful, very helpful. But the essence behind it is really three things that I would love to actually share with you today. Three strategies that you can use now so that you can actually notice this awareness behind, and you can see, hey, this is actually me, and let me just experiment with this and see how I can actually increase my focus. Okay? Number one, relax. Yes. So relaxation is a very important strategy here, because oftentimes we're not relaxed. Our nervous system is in a constant neurosis of kind of trying to fight or flight or whatever, or do something or just run away. And in order to break that, you need to use your breath, right? And so you can use your breath to just inhale deeply and exhale deeply, and all of a sudden you'll notice, okay, I have relaxed. Yes, the breath can relax you actually very quickly. You can relax your body and your nervous system. And so whatever urgency you've been in before normally tends to fade away if you just breathe in deep and breathe out for a few times. Okay? Okay, so this is number one, relaxing, right? Now the second part is sometimes what makes it difficult to relax is if your calendar is so packed that you don't have any time to relax, right? So if that is the case, then here's strategy number two. You need to unclog your calendar. Yes, so if your calendar is very packed with like hundreds of events back to back non-stop, and your story of life is I'm too packed, I'm so busy, it's crazy. If that is something you say on a regular basis, then you need to look at yourself and unclog your calendar, because it's not helpful, and nobody has created anything great by being super distracted all the time. So unclog your calendar means this: look at your calendar and look at what are some things that you have no intention and you feel like there's nothing you're adding to, right? So if you have a ridiculous amount of meetings, look at which meetings where you're not really adding anything to the table, and where it can be a simple text message, right? Where can you really convert meetings into email, right? An email format. Sometimes we initiate meetings and we feel like, oh, this needs to happen now all the time, and we go brainstorming in those meetings. Now I suggest you stop brainstorming in meetings and you brainstorm at home first, and then once you have clarity, then you maybe find a meeting, or you first communicate it, and if you need to catch up, you make a meeting. And so try to unclog your calendar, right? So normally if you look at your calendar and you try to really kind of let go of all the stuff that you feel like you really don't want to be a part of, your calendar tends to often free up a little bit, right? And it's cool if sometimes your calendar is full, but if it's full all the time, then you may have a problem, unless you really like it that way. But also there has to be some breathing room, some space where magic can happen. Okay, so feel free to unclog your calendar. That's strategy number two. And you will feel that it has unclogged if you wake up, you see your calendar, and you feel like you still feel relaxed. If you see your calendar, you still feel relaxed, then you're in a good spot. And now here's the last strategy that I found actually the most helpful to, well, be able to focus better. And that is the stop doing list, right? The stop doing list shows you all the stuff that you're currently doing that is making it really difficult for you to focus. Normally what's making it really difficult to focus is all sorts of addictions. And so if you like, you can start with naming out all your addictions that you have, right? Addiction to some substances, addiction to porn, addiction to consuming any sort of entertainment, addictions to, what other addictions are, to alcohol, right? Whatever addiction you possibly have, addiction to talking all the time, like me, for example, in this particular moment. What is an addiction you potentially have that is making it really difficult, right? And can you stop doing that? Now, in this case, sometimes, of course, it will be a little more difficult to stop doing that, but the intention already starts a good process. And then there's other things that you potentially are doing that you think you need to be doing because other people told you so, right? Somebody else told me I have to be doing this. I personally, I don't really believe that. And deep within, I'm certain that I don't need that in my life, but I'll still go ahead and do it because I believe that'll make me rich and free, right? So if that's you, then you can nicely stop doing that, right? If you have a particular intention or project you're going after, sure. But I tell you what, like I had so many things that I've been doing at a certain time, so my business really started to focus and to get really clear once I stopped doing all the stuff that wasn't really bringing it anything else. And so I really have noticed that it's very helpful to do a stop doing list like once a month, right? To check, just to reevaluate, to see what am I doing and can I stop doing a certain amount of things? Because all of a sudden that creates space. Creates space to relax, create space in your calendar. And when that space exists, allow yourself to just be bored a little bit, right? I'm not saying go and be bored for like a day or more or 2 days and do nothing. But you will notice that when you're bored, what often happens with your mind, and you will really feel this, that your mind kind of starts to end up on this loop. It starts to complete the loop that it's been on, right? It completes the story it's been telling you all this time, and it will repeat itself. And the moment it repeats itself, maybe you'll be able to catch it. And that's an important moment Because in those moments, it's your awareness, aka you, catching the mind doing a loop, essentially catching software, right? Creating a story again. And that's an important moment because it helps you to jump out of your mind. And when you're able to do that, all of a sudden, you're able to focus because you notice, okay, I'm the awareness behind it. I can place myself on things, and in that case, let me slow down. So please try those strategies, see and let me know how it went. Feel free to share in the comments. How do you actually get distracted? If you can distract yourself, how do you like to distract yourself? And what has been very easy actually to focus on? Has there been anything in your life that's been so easy to focus on that you didn't even notice it? And then I would love to read your comments on that. And if you like more of that, give me a like and I'll see you in the next video.